Good afternoon. I just wanted to take a moment and talk to you about the remainder of the course. For the rest of this short semester, you're going to be working on your argument paper. So you'll begin the research process now, and for this week you'll be doing an annotated bibliography. If you are having trouble deciding what topic you want to argue, here's a link here that will take you to some suggestions. You may want to go ahead and look at week 4 resources and look at the sample argument papers I have provided for you there if you just want to get some idea about where we're going with this assignment. But for this week, you're going to start your research and you'll be choosing 2 articles that have to do with your topic, and you're going to be analyzing them. So first of all, let's just look at the actual assignment. You need to pick 2 articles. This does not mean that you are committed to these articles. You have to use 3 articles in the final paper, and you may find better ones between now and then. So you're picking 2. Ideally you would use them, but you may find better ones later. So here's the instructions for the annotated bibliography. You only, the actual annotation is only about 150 words. And you'll be providing the MLA citation, and remember we're using MLA 7th edition, which is what is found in our textbook, and then your annotation. So this part is the citation, so when I say citation, that's what I mean, and then the remaining part is the annotation. Okay, all of this is the annotation, and basically what you're doing is you are just reviewing. I guess I can't just click off that. You're just reviewing the article, but there is a formula for it. So the first requirement is that you identify what type of source it is, because you may end up using videos or newspaper articles, whatever. So in this very first part right here, you identify what it is. You may go ahead and identify where it comes from if that has any sort of influence on what the article is. And just stick with the author's last name. We have the entire citation up here, so there's no need to repeat all of this stuff. The first thing you do is you'll summarize a quick summary and keep your opinions out of this portion. You may quote a few places if you need to. If you just can't come up with words to paraphrase or to summarize, you may throw in a few quotes. You'll cite them just like we do whenever we are writing, but try to avoid quotes if you can. And then you'll come back and finish up with opinion or analysis. And this is the part that, is going to take a little bit more effort on your part, because this is all summary. This is just reading the article. Now what about the article? And so this is when you can talk about the different appeals the author uses to get his point across. This is for sure the area that you can say whether or not you're going to use this article, whether it was helpful, okay? And so this is what you're doing this week. I provide you an entire example and a couple things I want to point out here. You set up like you do any MLA paper. It is in double space. You center the title Annotated Bibliography. Do not give it another title. That is the title. And please take note the margin. So we have our typical left margin right here. And then we tab in for the second and following lines. Sometimes it's hard to get this. There's a little hint. I have no idea why. But when you first type out your citation, if this second line won't tab over without taking the whole thing, if you'll just hit the enter button once, it releases it and you can send it over. This annotation though is at 1-inch margin, and you can set your margins up here in page layout. So we have 0, which is the default, we have 0.5, which is the tab, and then we have 1 inch, and then you can choose whether you want to indent or not here. You will alphabetize by author's last name, and you are only having to do 2. Okay. Now, let's look at the rubric. Let me point out that if this was a regular class where we were meeting on ground and we had several weeks to work on a paper, there is no way you would be getting 100 points for this assignment. This assignment does not the writing is not very, very involved. This is more about research. I usually give 20 points at the most for Comp 1 entries. Anyway, you're getting 50 points as a source this time because you are having to work fast. You're having to do a lot of work in a short amount of time, and this is an excellent time for you to bring your grade up. We're talking 100 points for a little over 300 words. Okay, so there's the rubric that I'll use to grade. And so I have pointed out that I want you to use the databases. I want you to find scholarly articles, and the best way to do that is just to use the library online database. So I have provided you with these passwords in case you're not on campus. When you're on campus, you can access stuff without passwords, but most of us are not on campus. So here are the passwords, and let me get out of these documents. So there's a couple places you can access the library. So on Miles Arca, you will go to Tools, and it'll say Library Book Search. You can go there, and here are the databases over here. I prefer ProQuest, but there's other good ones. And so we need the password. So let's go back. ProQuest is right here. Here's the username, and welcome is the password. So I recommend, if you really want to make sure that you can pull easily accessible articles that you know are pretty good, hit full text. That means you're going to get the whole article. It's not going to tell you where an article is and not give it to you. And peer reviewed means that if this is a scholarly article, that peers in the field have reviewed this article. So maybe I want to do a paper on the legalization of marijuana. Okay, and so I'll just type that in and hit search. It's going to take a minute since I'm running lots of programs right now. Okay, and so this comes up with 1,285 results with the entire articles. Okay, so you can look through here. There'll be different topics surrounding marijuana legalization, and you'll just click on it, find the full text. And I don't blame you. You need to look at your page count. You don't want something that's way too long. It's just too hard to get through. But several pages of this topic, and so your topics will be here as well. So this is what I mean by using the database. So you'll click here. Now let me give you one little hint. This is going to help you cite the article. You're going to hit cite here, but remember our rules. We're not using APA. We're not using MLA 8th edition. We're using MLA 7th edition. So if you want to use the citation generator here on ProQuest, you need to hit MLA 7th. Okay, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If you don't mind, go ahead and use the Help Me thread. And good